with Dr. Bob Thiel. Dr. Thiel, the James Webb Telescope is revealing more about the universe, and with AI and supercomputers, it seems human knowledge is about to skyrocket. What can you tell us about some of these apparent advances?
Well, the journal Nature recently put out an article called The Science Events to Watch For in 2024. So we're going to go over some of them. And the first one, by the way, was AI, or artificial intelligence advances. And they talked about the rise of ChatGPT and there'd be next generations of those. It talks about Google's Gemini project and other things happening. So we're going to see more development of AI. And they also want to figure out how to regulate it. The United Nations is looking at what to do about that. Now, as far as telescopes, actually in Chile, the Simons Observatory is supposed to be completed in mid-2024. Let me read what Nature wrote about this. This next generation cosmology experiment will look for signatures of primordial gravitational waves, the afterglow of the Big Bang in the cosmic microwave background. Well, they don't believe in God, so they're going to spend time trying to come up with their explanations of how things got here. Now, the next one was weaponized mosquitoes. And it says the World Mosquito Program will start producing disease-fighting mosquitoes at a factory in Brazil in 2024. Then it says something beyond the pandemic. As the world moves past the emergency phase of COVID-19 pandemic, the US government is funding trials for 3 next-generation vaccines. And it also says, by the way, that the World Health Organization is going to have its 77th World Assembly in May. And what they want is a pandemic treaty. Another thing they said to look for in 2024 was illuminating dark matter. And so it talks about the results of an experiment to detect dark matter particles known as axions. We'll see light in 2024. He talked about an experiment being done called Babi-Ioxo. So it looks like Babylon when you see it, at the German electron synchrotron in Hamburg in order to make this go forward. Also talked about super fast supercomputers. And it said early 2024, researchers will switch on Jupiter, Europe's first exascale supercomputer. The gigantic machine can perform 1 quintillion, which is a billion, computations each second.
Wow. Some of those scientific breakthroughs sound a little ominous. Can you offer any insight into the weaponized mosquitoes?
Yes. In summer of 2018, I read that they were going to release genetically modified mosquitoes in order to help reduce certain mosquito populations and diseases like Zika or whatever. But I found that problematic because they said this was totally safe. So I posted about it, or was safe. I don't think use the word totally. I posted about it on July 28th, 2018. And what I said was, or wrote, it says mosquitoes can carry and spread many diseases, but releasing genetically modified ones into the wild presents unknown risks. One assumption scientists have tended to make with genetically modified organisms is that they don't see any dangers, then there are none. That's foolish, yet that continues to be the view of the pro-GMO crowd. Again, this is what I wrote. While there are certainly risks associated with contracting the Zika virus, this solution poses risks to various parts of the ecosystem and the possibility that some of the offspring produced will have greater longevity as opposed to greatly reduced longevity. The vast quantity of mosquito offspring increases the possibility some have the opposite traits that the GMO crowd's hoping to get. If this occurs, this could cause greater problems than the GMO solution is supposed to fix. Genetically modified mosquitoes pose dangerous risk. So that's what I posted in July of 2018. Well, in September 2019, here's a report in the news. Deadly super mosquitoes are even tougher, accidentally created by scientists after bungled experiment. Genetically modified mosquitoes were designed by scientists to help populations decrease. They're actually thriving. This is according to new research that claims the plan to create gene-hacked mosquitoes will have offspring which die immediately has spectacularly backfired. Now scientists don't know what will happen next. The modified mosquitoes were released in Brazil. They're supposed to mix with the local population and produce weak offspring. So at first, the wild population did plummet, but 18 months later, it's back to where it was. Most concerning, though, is that the new super mosquitoes have properties that make them harder to kill. And says they found a place, these genetically modified mosquitoes, in the natural population. They're successfully interbreeding. The offspring of the gene-hacked mosquitoes and the natural ones are thought to be more robust. And then a researcher told News Atlas, is the unanticipated outcome that is concerning. Well, they should have thought about unanticipated outcomes before.
Sure.
Having mosquitoes that are more robust makes them harder to kill. Anyway, that doesn't mean, by the way, there can't be any success with what they're going to try to do with mosquitoes in 2024, because maybe there will be this time. I suspect so. But there are definitely more risks than the public's been told. There are also biblical prophecies about pestilences.
So the weaponized mosquitoes might not be a good idea. What about RNA vaccines?
Well, as far as RNA vaccines go, the fact is they were not nearly as good as the public was told related to COVID. Furthermore, in Matthew 24, verse 7, Jesus said we were going to have pestilences. And with the ride of the fourth horseman of the apocalypse, Revelation 6, verses 7 to 8, and the deaths will be associated with that, I don't believe that vaccines can possibly save humanity from what's coming, although vaccines can help some people for some things sometimes. Also, let me comment about that pandemic treaty the World Health Organization wants to get adopted. That is another step toward globalist control and loss of individual freedom.
Okay, so there may be some benefit to RNA vaccines and there might not be. What about dark matter? Surely there's nothing wrong with dark matter.
Dark matter has potential to be very dangerous. And here's something from Kern, who runs the European Large Hadron Collider. It says, unlike normal matter, it does not interact with electromagnetic force. It means it doesn't absorb, reflect, or emit light, making it extremely hard to spot. And they're concerned that there are various particles associated with this. And they're working on actually doing some of these over at the Large Hadron Collider. Now, I have suspected that dark matter could be used for stealth jets or missiles or hiding military facilities. I just don't think all the potential uses of it are going to be peaceful. And the work being done at CERN is for Europe. CERN actually stands for European Organization for Nuclear Research. I believe that some of the research has destructive potential. Also note, by the way, when I referred to the journal Nature, it's talking about dark matter and research being done by the German electron synchrotron in Hamburg, which of course is also in Europe. And the name of the experiment, which looks like Babylon, it's Babiaxo, brings to mind biblical warnings about Mystery Babylon the Great of Revelation 17 and 18, to me at least.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so dark matter doesn't emit, reflect, or absorb light, and we only know it's there because it may be affecting something else, and it may be used for stealth jets. Sounds like the jury is still out on that one. What about supercomputers?
Well, as far as Europe goes, originally they were going to try to get that supercomputer out in 2023, but now it looks like it's going to be 2024. Supercomputers, particularly when combined with advances in artificial intelligence, look to be something that will be used by the coming European Babylonian power to control buying and selling, which we're warned about in Revelation chapter 13, verses 16 to 18, as well as to enforce other edicts of the beast and the final Antichrist, which we can read about in Revelation 13, verse 15. Anyway, much is happening. Privacy, financial and otherwise, is being lost. And, we've done a lot of videos on AI. Reality is the Europeans actually want to control AI. They came up with a major set of regulations for that. And while they think they put in some restrictions and regulations to protect privacy, whatever, do not believe that human rights are going to be properly protected, no matter what proposed rules or actual rules indicate. The Bible points to a different outcome.
Okay. So supercomputers are a gray area then. Give us some words from God to shed a little light on these issues for us.
Well, in Daniel chapter 12, verse 4, God told Daniel that at the time of the end, many shall run to and fro, and knowledge shall increase. And certainly with supercomputers, and actually any kind of computers, and people having cell phones and access to the internet, knowledge is increasing. But the Bible also shows that improper censorship is going to come.
Okay.
Book of Amos, chapter 8, starting in verse 11, it says, "Behold, the days are coming, says the Lord God, that I'll send a famine on the land, not a famine of bread, nor thirst for water, but of hearing the words of the Lord. They'll wander from sea to sea, from north to east, will run to and fro, seeking the word of the Lord, shall not find it." I believe artificial intelligence will be involved in pulling proper religious content off the internet. I think AI will also be used to persuade and deceive people. And we did a video and radio broadcast on that. And we know financial controls and other controls are coming to Europe. Why don't I go ahead and read from Revelation 13, starting in verse 15. He, this is the Antichrist, was given power to give breath to the image of the beast, that the image of the beast should both speak and cause as many who would not worship the image of the beast to be killed. That may involve AI. He causes all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and slave, to receive a mark on their right hand or on their forehead. Verse 17, that no one may buy or sell except one who has the mark or the name of the beast or the number of his name. Here is wisdom. Let him who has understanding calculate the number of the beast, which the number of man is number 666. You did not have the ability to control buying and selling when Jesus had the Apostle John write this stuff down. Anyway, 666 is a European power. And with supercomputers and AI and digital currencies, war is getting in place in order for a totalitarian system to come in place. And the Bible shows that Europe will lead it. And currently, the European Union wants to lead digital technology and software and AI as well. So we're seeing steps happening. We'll see more steps in 2024. Hopefully, you're paying attention because things are changing. They're not going to remain as they have been.
Dr. Thiel, isn't there some scripture where God talks about us humans being like him?
You might be thinking of Genesis chapter 11. Starting in verse 1, we read that the earth had one language and speech, and they got together and they decided they were going to build a tower, build us up a city, and the tower is going up into the heavens, make a name for ourselves, lest we be scattered. And verse 5 said, but the Lord came down to see the city and the tower which the sons of men had built. And the Lord said, indeed, the people are one, they all have one language, and this is what they've begun to do. Now, nothing they propose to do will be withheld from them. So we see a biblical prophecy that knowledge will be increased, even back in Genesis, to a massive degree. So then you continue, God comes down, scatters their language, scatters them by changing their languages. And therefore, the name is called Babel, because God confused their languages and scattered them around the earth.
That's the one I was thinking of. Thank you, Dr. Thiel. For more interviews with Dr. Thiel, in addition to written as well as audio articles, visit our website at BibleNewsProphecy.net. This is Steve Dupuie for the Bible News Prophecy Program.